Welcome back. And we're going to be taking a look at Game 5 of the World Championship between Magnus Carlsen and the challenger, Ian Nepo. And we'll flip it around again and give the boss his perspective in this game. And this will be another quick one because I'm wondering where the challenger went that was playing aggressive and beautiful chess to get his shot at the title. Because we have the same anti-martial that got absolutely nowhere. And if this is the preparation to win the World Championship, I'm a bit confused. This looks like preparation in order not to lose with white. So let's keep going. Rook b8, takes. And this next move is a shocking theoretical move, played less than 10 times. And clearly the challenger and his team have really done their work. h3, groundbreaking, absolutely. So, sarcasm aside, I really want to see, like, when is the levee going to break? I'm not somebody who's going to watch a 6-hour commentary of this. I feel bad. I feel bad for the commentators on all the different servers, from Chess24, Chess.com, etc. They're having to comment 6 hours on this. Well, if the game lasts that long, they're commenting for hours on something that, you know, it's, let's see, by move 15, it could be a decent point to agree to a draw in this game. Let's get some excitement. And no, going to a 24-game match is not going to help. It's going to create more games like this. Or going back to the old format of, we'll call it the Let's Kill Karpov format, where how many games was it? Like 130 games that Kasparov and Karpov played in the first to win 6 games match, their first World Championship match. Yeah. Were people saying that there's a draw death in chess when those guys made, like, what, 100, easily 100 plus, I don't know the exact number, draws. And you could take a look at much of those games, and it was like, all right, here's my opening preparation for today. Anything from you? No? Okay, let's draw. That's part of the game when you get to a certain level. But you got to be objective if you're in the challenger's shoes. I mean, can anybody else feel the heat of an 18-year-old who's currently number 2 in the world? Seems like the representative for the next generation. And if that's the case, this is more than likely Nepo's last and only shot at the crown. From an objective point of view, there's so much luck that goes into the candidates tournament itself that you have a whole field of extremely competent competitors, and a little bit of luck can put you over the top. I gotta say, if it was me and it was the one shot, you know, you gotta, what would Gary do? And I think Gary would whip out something like the dragon in a late game and beat a nod. And, yeah. But I digress. Let's get back to this riveting game. D6, C3. We've got very, very typical anti-martial type stuff. Takes. D5. Martial idea yet again. And after knight BD2, takes. When you compare the pawn structure and it's symmetrical, you compare the pieces and there are no imbalances. There's very, very little to work with for white here. And this could easily be a draw offer at this point. So, bishop d6 makes a lot of sense. The only weakness in the position is the e-pawn. Queen c2, covering the e-pawn again, getting ready for potential of rook d1 or knight c4, even knight f1. I like h6 because clearly the d2 knight is going to move, and we just don't want to have to deal with a pin. So prophylaxis. And this is, I think, one of two spots in the game where I felt that Magnus had a different option. He played knight e7 and eventually goes queen e8 and bishop e6 after relocating the knight to g6. And this is a common maneuver because this knight's not doing anything. Oh, to get it to g6. Oh my god, my arrow game is like so off. Okay, that's how the knight moves. So I much prefer bishop d7 and queen c8, where we're keeping an eye on f5 if the white knight drops in. It can keep white honest that maybe in some dream world he's got to worry about a sacrifice on h3, and then we still have the idea with bishop e6. So I felt that this was a more flexible way to go, but I'm not the boss, and he held the game without any difficulty, so just my 2 cents. Bishop e3, queen e8. And what was different with the line I was suggesting in this, the challenger played rook ed1, but c4 is probably and objectively the only point in the game where white could make an attempt to create some sort of imbalance in press where the c-pawn is a little bit better than its counterpart on c7. That will force black to play c5. You cannot allow white to play it. And after bishop a4, bishop c6, the relocation of the bishop, that's a fine bishop. And after takes, it's just a little bit of something. It's a closed position. White has a knight versus a bishop as an imbalance, and in a closed position, that is something. If you're going to play this, at least go for the imbalance and play for another, 50 to 100 moves in this position before agreeing to a draw. All right, so after queen e8, rook ed1 was played in the main game. Bishop e6. Would you like to repeat or trade? All right, we'll trade. And now the only weakness is this situation. And you're going to see Magnus go, all right, rook's on the open file. My rook's on f8's not doing anything. So let's go ahead and clip and get my rook to an open file. So I've improved my last piece. Now rook a6, we see one attacker here, and 2 and 3 can quickly go here. And I find this interesting because Magnus can definitely play knight f4 and go with active defense here, and there's liquidation trades, but it's an interesting point here that he goes, okay, I see that you have 3 attackers. This is not going to be an issue for me. And remember, folks at home, it's the principle of 2 weaknesses. If you attack 2 things at the same time and your opponent can only defend one, the other falls. Since there's only one weakness in the position, we can typically hold with passive defense. So, knight e8, holding the bishop with one piece. Already have the c-pawn, so 1 attacker, 2 defenders. Knight f8. Knight e6. Oh, look at that, rook d8. So we've got knight on e8, pawn on c7, and rook on d8. You have 3 attackers, and you have nothing. Nothing. f3, f6. Steady as she goes. And knight d6. Easy way to get rid of one of those attackers. h5, you've secured the pawn structure and you have the better bishop. But with the base pawns both effortlessly covered, white has nothing but a symbolic good bishop versus bad bishop advantage here. No trade, active rook. And understandably, The players had enough today, and at least one of them went to go take a nap. I just feel like this is a go take a nap game. All right, another quick one. And it's becoming watching World Championships and modern chess. It's not taking bets on how many wins there's going to be. It's taking bets on how many draws there's going to be. And also, is everybody going to play this way from now on? Anybody going to play for imbalances? I mean, I do know if you go for a Sicilian, Magnus is not going to allow an open Sicilian. He's just going to play like a Russellimo or Canal Russellimo, or I don't know, has a bunch of names. But still, I think it'd be more interesting than this. All right. Hopefully we'll get a game tomorrow as Magnus has the white pieces. And please.